Now, going to Seth Lugo, I would say that was an expected signing. It wasn't anything like crazy. I mean, we all know what he's going to be. He's going to start as a starter, probably start as a six-man rotation. Time goes on, he's not going to be a part of that six-man rotation no more. Probably go to the bullpen, and that was kind of Nick Martinez's role last year. But in my opinion, we cannot roll into the regular season with two guys that are the exact same archetype in the same rotation. No offense to Nick Martinez, but he balled out in a certain role. Expanding him to a role where he was okay. He was a fifth starter. He had around a 4 ERA. But it's kind of confusing if you're going to leave him into that fifth spot throughout the whole season when he really excelled out of a certain role. 10 million for the role he's going to be playing is pretty fantastic considering all the deals that we've been seeing. And I'm happy the guy's getting another shot to be a starter. You know, he deserves it. He was great last year, but there's a little too much risk in the back end of this rotation. There's not only the risk of, well, Seth Lugo isn't really a starter. I don't know the last start he made that lasted longer than 3 innings. He's got UCL problems. A lot of people have been saying that this guy might honestly be an injury away. And then you got Nick Martinez, who excelled in a certain role last year that I would love to keep him in, not throughout the entirety of the season, but I would love to get him back into the role that he was, I mean, quite possibly one of the more valuable pieces on the Padres last year. So I think, you know, you're going to start seeing the Padres go after the Johnny Cuetos, the Corey Kluber, Michael Waka. You know, you're going to see them go after these kind of guys because we don't really have a strong back end rotation right now. We don't really have a guy that's guaranteed to give you at least 5 innings. And I'm not asking for a guy that's going to give you 5 innings with, you know, 1 or 2 run ball. I'm asking for a guy that'll give you 5 for 3, 5 for 4, 6 for 4, something like that. Because I don't know. I feel like banking on expanding somebody's innings as significant as you're going to do with Nick Martinez and Seth Lugo is a big thing to bet on. And I'm kind of scared that that's not going to pan out. And let's say it doesn't pan out, right? You got Xander Bogaerts now. You don't want to waste a single season of Soto because you realistically don't know if he's going to come back. Even if you do think he's going to come back, you don't know. You need somebody. You really do need somebody. You do not want to bank on 2 guys that have not pushed to that 100 inning limit, to the 150 inning limit. Because right now, with the moves they've made, it sure seems like they're trying to bank on at least one of those guys doing that. And we don't really know. I mean, we don't know what they're just trying to do in the trade market. If I were a betting man, I would bet he's in the trade market trying to trade for somebody. But you still, even if you trade for somebody, you probably still need one more guy. This is a 162 game season. You probably still need at least maybe Kluber or Cueto just for that security. Because a few years ago, we didn't have that security. And we had one of the biggest season collapses in MLB history. Not only that, you got to factor in Yu Darvish is getting older, more injury prone. Blake Snell in the first half, he's not very good. And then Joe Musgrove, I mean, you know, I love Joe. He's solid all year pretty much. He has those, you know, 2-3 starts in a row, 4 starts in a row where he gets rocked, but other than that, he's pretty damn good. Somebody brought up Jay Groom, another risk. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of risk being put into the back end of this rotation.
So I like how you're bringing up because I have a little bit of a different take on it all. I think the Padres are in a fine spot to start the year. Now, when I say start the year, I don't mean start regular season. I mean to go into spring training with these guys. I think what their plan is we're going to head into spring training. You know, our 1, 2, 3 at 4, 5, 6. We're going to rock out a combination of Nick Martinez, Seth Lugo, and Jay Groom. And we're going to see what they have. We're going to see how they look when they're stretched out. We're going to see how comfortable we are with them pitching big-time games. Say one of Nick Martinez or Seth Lugo, they really don't feel confident that they're going to be able to turn them into a starter. They're like, you know what, Seth Lugo, I know we wanted to bring you on as a starter. We think your arm's going to fall off, you know, in June if we have you start. That's our problem, right? And they're like, look, we want to have you in a big role. We're going to keep Nick Martinez in the starter role. We think he's going to be able to do that. Or say it's flip-flop or say whatever it is. And then they look at Jay Groom. They're like, hey, you're good enough to be our 5, or you're not good enough to be our 5. I think their decisions are going to come after that. I think AJ is 100% looking to trade for someone to be their fourth starter potentially and have them that like three as a mix. But I think heading into spring training, I think if those are your guys, and then I think I see this Arthur too, and you're saying exactly how we feel about it. They might stretch out Morejon too, which might be a terrible idea. We kind of feel like it might be a terrible idea, and it's not like oh we can't do it. It's just like if he gets hurt, like if he keeps getting hurt, it's like when are you going to stop trying to make him a starter? That's the
If
only
he
thing.
if he gets hurt one more time, if he needs elbow surgery or anything like that one more time, his career might be over.
That's the thing. Yeah. So, and I think that's where it's hard to tell, like, what do you really want to do with these guys? And I think that's why you go into spring kind of thinking, like, okay, we have all these guys that might be starters. Let's see what we have. If they're not, that's when you go and you get a Cueto, because I saw Cueto was linked to the Padres a little bit. You go and you sign a Cueto, right? Or you go and you make a trade for someone. Basically, any player that's on the Marlins is available for a trade, or any pitcher on the Marlins is available for a trade. So you potentially go and you try to make a deal with a guy in the Marlins, like with the Marlins for someone, whether that be, you're going high end for Lopez, you're going for one of their other guys. But I feel like it's fine going into spring training like this. Now, I would be concerned if they start the year and they're kind of like, if it feels like they're uneasy about either one of Nick Martinez or Seth Lugo, and Jay Groom doesn't look good, like if he looks bad, because then all of a sudden you're like, are you really like banking on like stretching out Morejon? Or are you like really confident that one of these guys is going to be healthy? Because early in the season, like if you have a couple guys go down, all of a sudden you're going to need to trade for a lot. You're not going to be able to have like the ability to go and like sign one guy here and do something really quick. So I'm fine with it going into spring training to kind of see what you have, but I think that there is another corresponding move, and I'm fully expecting that to kind
Yeah.
of be the plan.
Mhm.
Maybe that's even the All-Star break. Maybe they're like, look, we have all these guys. We need this many innings by here. Like, I think we're gonna be able to do it, and that's what their thought is. We're gonna do maybe they're gonna do 6-man with Jay Groom. I don't know what their plan is, but like maybe they just want to see what they have in house before they go and add anyone else, and that's what I think is their plan. And honestly, I don't really have a problem with that. I think that's okay to do, but I do get the concerns, and I think every single fan that experienced that 2021 downfall probably has a little bit of PTSD of
Yeah.
that, of like,
Mhm.
dude, we need depth, we need depth, we need depth. But
Yeah.
you can still find it elsewhere. I think that's the big difference. And in 2021, what was the big thing? AJ went all in on Scherzer, whiffed, and then everything fell apart. That was the issue. So unless you have a situation like that, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's fair. It's just it's weird because sports is a very like it's a day by day thing. Like that a move is probably coming. AJ's trying to get another pitcher via trade market or one of those lower free agent signings, Cueto, Kluber, those guys. Chase really likes Wade Miley. So I could really see them doing one of those moves. But the fact that we don't know keeps us on our toes. But yeah, banking on guys that I mean, Seth Lugo, injury prone. Nick Martinez hasn't been stretched out. Ryan Weathers, I don't know what's going on with that guy. Adrian Morejon has a significant injury history. One more, he might be done. So everything points to AJ's probably going through the trade market. And one thing you brought up was, we might see what we have in house first and wait to the trade deadline. And the way I see that is, all right, they're probably banking on the Brewers sucking. And you know who AJ will go after if the Brewers suck? Because the Brewers sucked after they traded Josh Hader. They sucked. And they traded a few other guys. They were really bad. If they're bad going into the trade deadline, they might trade one of their pitchers. And that's where AJ normally strikes. Same thing happened with Juan Soto. I mean, there's a lot of things that, and I mean, same thing happened with the Dodgers for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. Like teams, when the writing is on the wall, they will trade the guy. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to wait till the All-Star break, but if they do, I think they're in a good enough position to really say, like, look, we're gonna be all right. This is a good team. The lineup can carry us for as long as we need, as long as they're healthy, we're gonna be okay. But you don't want to bank on that because pitching is better than ever. What did I
It
see
would
up here that
just
I want? Go
I
for
was
it.
gonna say it'd be so concerning if you have like, we got a Ryan Weathers day, we got a Reese Kinnear day, and it's
Right.
like June. We're like, dude, what is
What
happening?
are we
This is
doing?
disaster mode.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
that's what I was gonna say with that spring training stuff that I was bringing up. I think it's more of like they want to see with what they have, and unless they're really comfortable, then they're gonna pull a deal, or they're gonna sign another guy like a Cueto or who is it? Who else? Kluber. Kluber's there, right?
Kluber, yeah, Kluber's there. Mhm.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So like I would say like Cueto or Kluber probably makes the most sense for a potential deal. But I think that's what you're kind of looking for there. What were
Yeah.
you looking for in the comments though?
Shoot, I kind of forgot. How did Taylor Rogers get 12 million a year for 3 years? Hey, bro, he got
That's
his
wild.
bag. Congrats to him, and sucks for the Giants because that guy kind of stinks. Um,
I think
but
Bill's comments really accurate.
no, yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Completely agree. I mean, you do need 8 or 9 pitchers, and I mean, I think they can get there. It's just a matter of like you have what one,
I
two,
feel like three
three.
or four wild cards.
Yeah, you have 3 or 4 wild
You
cards.
might
You
be
can't.
there.
Yeah,
You could be there right now in theory, but you might also be
exactly.
very far away.
Exactly. Like those 3 or 4 wild cards is that's way too much. Like realistically, those 3 or 4 wild cards should be all right. This guy got hurt. This guy got hurt. This guy got hurt, and my fourth guy got hurt. So we need these next 3 or 4 guys. Remember the Brewers last year? They lost like 2, 3 guys in their rotation. They were able to replace them with Ashby and a few different guys, and they held up until they traded Josh Hader. Um, they
So I got a
held up.
question for you then.
Mhm.
So for the Brewers, if the Padres were to trade for one of the Brewers starters, are you thinking that they would go after who? Corbin Burns?
You know AJ will swing for that. I think more realistic is Brandon Woodruff, but you know AJ's first call is going to be, "Hey, what's going on with Corbin Burns?" That he's not going to say what's going on with Brandon Woodruff. He's going to say what's going on with Corbin Burns, and then if they say nothing, I mean he's not going anywhere. Okay, what about Woodruff? And then I doubt they trade Peralta.
I'm not like super high on trading for Woodruff. I would way rather like take a swing on Corbin Burns or go for
Oh, yeah,
like another guy.
yeah,
I don't know, dude. Woodruff just seems kind of like a risky guy to trade for, in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, I
I don't
get
know
it.
how much I love it.
He's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably a
He's
top
good.
20.
He's good.
Yeah, he's
He's
good. Yeah,
pretty old though, right? Like he's like
that's a good
he's.
question.
I think he's sneaky old. I'm pretty sure he's sneaky old. Let's
Sneaky
see.
old.
He's
Let's see.
okay. He's only 29. He's not that. That's not that bad.
He just looks old, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it is.
It's the facial
Like,
hair, man.
yeah, maybe. What if they stretch out Nabil?
Nah.
I mean, for a couple games, it's all right, but like not
Yeah.
like all right. Nabil's a fifth starter. That's us too. And I also see like Arthur. You also said up here, Reese Kinnear, like he hasn't been that bad. He hasn't either, but he usually pitches 3 innings. It's just like it's a heavy amount of innings on the bullpen.